So I think all of the hullabaloo about Ezra Klein's op-ed for the New York Times about the Charlie Kirk shooting is nonsense. And I think it's emblematic of something that's been happening on the left for a long time, which is one of the reasons why we keep losing. Hey, I'm Julian Walker from Conspirituality Podcast. You can also follow me here on my new account called Derange, and that is brand new on YouTube as well. First of all, I think it was a bad choice of headline. So if the headline says, Charlie Kirk was practicing politics in the right way, yeah, it's clickbaity and you're actually drawing the haters to you. But anyone who actually read the very short op-ed would understand what Ezra Klein was getting at. Ezra Klein was saying Charlie Kirk was practicing politics in an effective way, in a way that created massive influence, in a way that potentially swayed the last election, in a way that took a whole demographic, a whole age group within a generation that us Democrats thought we had under lock and key and moved them to the right. Nobody who pays any attention to Ezra Klein literally believes that Ezra Klein thinks Charlie Kirk's politics, his actual political positions, were anything but odious. We all know that. But this is what we do on the left. Ezra Klein has to explicitly say that. Otherwise, he's carrying water for the right. In a very short, pithy opinion piece written pretty soon after the Charlie Kirk killing, Ezra Klein is reflecting on, hey, here's a guy who did something somewhat unique. He went to college campuses and he debated kids, and we can have all kinds of conversations around how those debates are bad faith, or how he's beating up on young people who are unprepared, and how he's just exploiting them for clickbaity moments for his YouTube channel and his social media accounts. Sure. But it's undeniable that what he did was highly effective. And the real context for this is not, does Ezra Klein like fascists? The real context for this is, what the hell are the Democrats going to do to try to reverse this terrible tide of losing elections and losing power and allowing authoritarians and wannabe fascists to run over us with populist political messaging that somehow reaches people? Now, Ta-Nehisi Coates came out with a very critical article, and he listed 3 different people. He listed Ezra Klein, and the article I've been talking about. He listed Sally Jenkins. And I thought, well, let me click through and see what terrible article Sally Jenkins wrote that missed the mark so badly. And it was a 6-word tweet. And the 6-word tweet, let me see if I remember it. It said, he was civil, period. That's a start. Now, I don't think it's a particularly brilliant or insightful tweet, but it's a tweet. The other person that Ta-Nehisi Coates mentioned was Gavin Newsom. And Gavin Newsom, in his role as governor of California, published an official statement in which he condemned political violence and expressed his condolences for the family of a man who had been murdered. Now, it would be one thing if Ezra Klein was continuously trying to whitewash and paint far-right politicians as if they're reasonable and as if it's somehow hateful or closed-minded to oppose their points of view. But that's not what Klein does. I don't agree with Ezra Klein on everything, but I think anyone wanting to give him a fair reading would say, well, what has he been doing in the weeks and months prior to this? And if you look at his feed, what he's been doing is saying, this is not normal. Trump is moving us toward authoritarianism. We all need to wake up. He's a bully. We need to stand up to him. He's been urging Democrats who are sitting in power right now to do a government shutdown, something that Republicans normally do, in order to stop Trump from being able to fund authoritarian endeavors like ICE. So anyway, that's what I wanted to say today. I wanted to give you my hot take on the Ezra Klein drama. Maybe this is an unpopular opinion, but to me, it's emblematic of the kind of infighting and purity testing and looking for near enemies to scapegoat that happens left of center in a way that I think is just completely ineffective. And the only winner in this kind of drama is the right.